Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to another episode of News Dose, where I keep you up to date with everything happening in the gaming world. And today I got a good one for you Xbox fans out there, because the first wave of the March Xbox Game Pass lineup has been announced, which includes a game that I think has a chance for Game of the Year. Phil Spencer has also teased Xbox Series X enhancements, and that could end up being really interesting depending on what games does that. And also, InX AO Entertainment has secretly been growing their studio to build a big AAA RPG. So stay tuned to hear about all that, but there are some other stuff to talk about as well, including Google Stadia building another new studio, Remedy could possibly be working on an exclusive game for PlayStation, and more, so stay tuned for all of that. First though, let's get some of the quick stuff out of the way, and that starts with Castlevania Symphony of the Night, which got a shadow drop onto iOS and Android devices. This came out of nowhere, and Konami may be a shadow themselves, but Symphony of the Night is widely considered to be the best Castlevania game to date, and it is responsible for inspiring so many great Metroidvania games that's made today. The mobile port does have controller support as well as achievements, so it may be worth picking up. This is actually, I believe, the PSP remastered version. It is only $3, and something else to note here is the Netflix Castlevania series is back on March 5th, and I'm sure that is no coincidence with them releasing so close together. Also, Valve seems to be teasing that more Half-Life games will follow Half-Life Alyx by saying that they absolutely see Half-Life Alyx as their return to the world and not the end of it. Of course, Valve has been infamous for not returning to the Half-Life franchise sooner, and in fact Half-Life 2 Episode 2, which was the last big Half-Life release, came out in 2007, nearly 13 years ago. And it not returning for 13 years is a huge surprise, considering at the time Half-Life was one of the biggest games in the entire industry. And that's the exact reason why you're seeing virtual reality headsets like the Valve Index suddenly sell out, because fans are just so excited to play a new Half-Life game. A lot of these fans are willing to pay $1,000 for a new VR headset just to play Half-Life Alyx, so hopefully what they're saying here is true. I want to see more Half-Life games myself, even after Alyx releases later this month. It's a franchise that should have never been gone for 13 years, but hopefully going forward, that won't be the case anymore. What do you think though? Do you trust Valve to make more Half-Life games going forward, or no? Do you think that they're just talking right now? Let me know in the comments below. Now with some of the quick stuff out of the way, let's move on to some of the bigger stuff, which starts with Xbox Game Pass. Today they did announce the first wave of the March lineup for both Xbox Game Pass on console as well as PC. For the console version, Train Sim World 2020 and NBA 2K20 will be available on March 5th, then a week later you have Ori and the Will of Wisps on March 11th, and then Pikuniku on March 12th. Pikuniku is actually a pretty solid game, and I think that one is going to surprise a lot of people, because I don't think a lot of people actually know about that game. It's a cute little puzzle game, and it's a pretty odd game at that, but yeah, I do think quite a few of you are really going to enjoy Pikuniku. Ori and the Will of Wisps, though, is the big one here, and I keep saying this, but I do think that it has a good chance of being a sneaky Game of the Year candidate. I truly believe that Ori and the Blind Forest is an all-time great Metroidvania game, especially in terms of its platforming, but that's the thing. From everything that we're hearing, it sounds like Will of Wisps will be even better, which is hard to believe. Either way, we are only 7 days away from being able to play it for ourselves, and the fact that it is launching into Xbox Game Pass day one, it's pretty amazing. And hey, luckily for Xbox Game Pass on PC, it will also be getting Ori day one along with Train Sim World and Pikuniku, but instead of NBA 2K20, it will instead be getting Mother Russia Bleeds as well as the Lord of the Rings card game. So yeah, overall this is another impressive lineup, with Ori leading the charge into March. You gotta love those first-party Xbox games releasing day one into Xbox Game Pass, especially when they're super high quality like Ori. Don't forget though, this is only the first wave for March, and in another couple weeks, we should be hearing about the second half of March and what's in store for us then. As always, I love Xbox Game Pass. They just do an extraordinary job with it. I'm hoping to see those Final Fantasy games here soon that was announced way back in XO19, and also Superland, that was actually announced there as well. A lot of you all probably don't know much about Superland, but it's actually a hidden gem that's been available on Steam for quite a while now. It's a really good game. So yeah, that's another great game to look forward to on Xbox Game Pass. Nonetheless, we do have some more Xbox news to talk about as well. Phil Spencer visited the Coalition yesterday, the developers behind the Gears franchise, and Phil Spencer decided to give us a nice little tease for both Gears Tactics as well as some Xbox Series X enhancements for Gears 5. Now, we don't have too much information on this other than what Phil tweeted out, but you can clearly see that there is 2 monitors side by side with Gears 5 playing, probably one showing the enhanced version on the Xbox Series X and then the other on Xbox One X. Obviously, we can't tell much from the picture alone other than that Phil Spencer, he put quotation marks around enhancements, which is pretty clearly teasing that it will be getting Xbox Series X enhancements, but that alone is really exciting. Gears 5 already looks excellent and is one of this generation's best looking games, and with some Series X enhancements, it really could take it to the next level. See, I actually played Gears 5 on PC as well as Xbox One X, and as always, the PC version is glorious in comparison to console. Granted, it still does look really good on Xbox One X, but if the Series X version can match what PC does right now, that would be fantastic. But I don't think it'll stop there either. Now, this is just me speculating, but I think that they may use Gears 5 as a showpiece to show what the extra power for Series X can do in comparison to current generation games. I imagine they're going to try and bump up the frame rate if possible, improve some textures and shadows, but if I were to bet on one thing, we will likely see ray tracing added to Gears 5. That can make the game look significantly better alone with all the lighting effects that are in Gears 5. Let's not forget that the Coalition is arguably the best developer in the entire industry when it comes to the Unreal Engine as well, so to have them focus on some Series X enhancements could really be a big deal. Gears 5 could end up setting the bar right out of the gate come launch for what games can look like for next generation consoles and how much you can improve current generation games for the Series X. And that is something about this news. Phil Spencer is a calculated man, and I'm sure this tease was not only teasing enhancements for Gears 5, but it may be a sign for what is to come. It may be possible that we will see more games get enhancements for the Xbox Series X, similar to what we've seen with Xbox 360 games for Xbox One X. I know it keeps saying X all over the place, I know it's a little confusing. And not only are these games coming from first-party studios, but third-party games have been doing it as well. There is a few that really stands out to me, like Sonic Generation and Final Fantasy 13, which looks exceptional on Xbox One X with their enhancements. And the cool thing was that they came with no additional costs, so is it possible that we see the same thing for Series X? They did announce Smart Delivery already, which is supposed to upgrade games on Series X, so will developers go back and improve games that are already out? If so, what games would you like to see get Series X enhancements? A few for me that would stand out immediately would be something like The Witcher 3 and Red Dead Redemption 2. I think that those games would look amazing if they got some Series X enhancements, but either way, this is very exciting. Moving on though, we do have one last Xbox related topic, and that is coming from Enix AO Entertainment that has been growing their studio rapidly as of recent. This is an added bonus of being acquired by a big publisher like Xbox, where you do have the budget to grow. Well, they did get a big hire yesterday with former BioWare and Sony Santa Monica developer Dean Reimer joining Enix AO as the lead combat designer, which could be a big deal. Not only did Dean Reimer work on games like Mass Effect and the most recent God of War, but it kind of signifies what kind of talent that they are looking for within Enix AO. And that's the thing. We've known for a while that Enix AO is working on a big AAA RPG beyond Wasteland 3. We know it's using Unreal Engine, and we know it's not another isometric game like Wasteland. This is supposed to be a big, true AAA experience, and one of the reasons Xbox acquired them. And with this hire, it shows that they are looking for super talented developers to make this into a special game. See, and I think there is still a lot of people that kind of question Xbox's first-party studios and what kind of quality that they'll be putting out next generation, but I think studios like InXile may really surprise people next generation. We have to remember that InXile is ran by Fergus, which is a legend in the RPG community. He's worked on games like Baldur's Gate, he's worked on Fallout, Icewind Dale, Pillars of Eternity, KOTOR, and the list goes on and on. He really has worked on some of the biggest RPGs to ever be made. It would not shock me to see him put out another huge RPG next generation, and this is what excited me with this acquisition from Xbox the most. They're giving him a budget to make a big AAA game once again, and I do think that InXile may make something really special here. I mean, there is no guarantee, but they certainly seem to be getting the talent. What about you though? Are you excited to see what InXile is working on beyond Wasteland 3? Now, in other news, we also have a rumor that is floating around about Sony working with Remedy Entertainment to make a PlayStation 5 exclusive. Now, this isn't because some random person on the internet is claiming they're working together, but rather, this is because a new lead producer for Remedy Entertainment by the name of Alexis Garaguta has put in his job title as XDev plus CoDev. That could signify that yes, Remedy may be working with Sony on something. XDev is a PlayStation first-party team that works closely with third parties to develop PlayStation games, and this isn't the first time Remedy has been linked to PlayStation or XDev. Last year, Shu Yoshida visited Remedy, and after that, XDev Europe retweeted the tweet where Shu visited Remedy. And really, the rumors have been circulating since that point. Then yesterday, Sony announced Remedy's control for PlayStation Now, so the two clearly has a good working relationship right now. We also know that Remedy has an unannounced game. They are working on Control's DLC as well as Crossfire X's single player for Xbox, but there is a third mystery project. There has been a lot of speculation that this third game is possibly an Alan Wake sequel, and is it possible that it will be a PlayStation 5 exclusive? That would certainly be big news considering that Alan Wake is known as an Xbox franchise, but it could also be a brand new IP. I mean, this is all speculation right now, and it could end up being nothing, but it is intriguing to think about why this producer has in his job title XDev. Either way, if they are working together, I do think it would be a good fit because Remedy is great with single player experiences, and that is something that Sony fans love. And for me, I'm just a fan of Remedy in general. I just think that they're an amazing studio. So I'll be excited to hear about this mystery project no matter what it is, and no matter what consoles or PC or whatever it's on, I'm excited for what Remedy has coming. Now for the last piece of news, Google Stadia has announced a brand new studio, which will be led by the former Sony Santa Monica head, Shannon Studstill. She has worked on games like God of War, and this could end up being big for Google Stadia, which now has 3 total studios. They have the Jade Raymond studio that they announced when they were first talking about Google Stadia. They recently acquired Typhoon Studios, which worked on Journey to the Savage Planet, and now they have Shannon Studstill. I know Google Stadia has really struggled so far, and I think a lot of that is because they rushed this out to the market, trying to beat Microsoft to the punch on game streaming, but Google has remained adamant that they are in the game industry for the long run. If that's the case, these new studios certainly make a lot of sense, and Google is saying it is to make exclusive games. They should have probably done this before releasing Google Stadia, but we'll wait and see what happens going forward. Google certainly has the money for these acquisitions and to build new studios, so I imagine this will not be the only one going forward. Anyways though, that's it for this episode, but if you liked the video, don't forget to hit the bell notification and subscribe button for more content just like this. Peace out.